Val, I want to start this with a bit of a statement. I've watched you over the years very, very closely, and you remind me so much of Jonah Lomu, but not only physically, but also you were a very, very shy young teenager as well. And now you're very, very comfortable with the media. Are you aware how much you've developed?
Yeah, to some extent. Obviously, was brought up in South Auckland, didn't have much, and you sort of get exposed to this sort of lifestyle and this sort of environment. You do grow with it, and you do get comfortable with it. I think within sport, as you succeed, you know, you are comfortable with the fact that this is life for you right now. And I see the difference, especially when I take my family out to sort of events like the Halbergs or stuff like that, which, you know, they would never ever go to unless I was involved. And yeah, I think I have come a long way. I think stopped being a fob sometimes at very important, you know, occasions. But apart from that, I still know where I come from and know where my roots are.
Do you pinch yourself about that development?
Yeah, but then I also know that I've worked really hard to get to where I am today. So it wasn't an easy road, but I'm here and I got here.
When did you first become aware of your talent?
I didn't really realise how good I was until I sort of qualified for my first World Youth Championships in 1999. But apart from that, I was actually playing basketball, and I thought I was okay in basketball. But obviously, I chose the individual sport and went with that, and obviously it worked out.
So when you say you weren't sure, you've obviously had a lot of great ability from early on. You're conscious of that?
Absolutely. I remember throwing 12 metres with no shoes on at the school champs, and I broke the record there. Then I went to the county's Manukau champs, bare feet, and turned up late, and they let me throw, and I broke the record there. So I think that's when you sort of realise how good you were, and you know, people sort of noticed you and started asking questions of where I should train or who I should be trained by and all this sort of stuff.
I'm pleased to be doing this interview here, in this environment. Yeah. I really am, and I'll tell you why, because so much of it is to do with training. Do you consider yourself to be a good trainer?
I am. I think I'm a really good trainer. Shut up, Nick. I think I'm a great trainer. I'm one of the people, I never turn up late to training. I've never ever been late to training, whether I'm in Switzerland or in New Zealand. I am always prepared to train, regardless of how tired I am. I still seem to pull through, and I think that's just my nature, and that's just my way of wanting to be the best athlete in the world.
But are there days when you find it hard to be motivated to train?
Definitely. You know, when you are tired, there are those days, but I know that when I turn up to training and I see Jean-Pierre's face and he's smiling and, you know, motivating me to get through, and once I start, I'm okay. But I hardly come by those days unless Nick gets me doing something till late at night.
And I understand that. Yeah. Like this type of thing, you find something like this, an interview like this, a bit of a pain in the butt?
You know, it is part of the journey. This is, unfortunately, part of who I am and what I have to do, because I am public property, and if I have to give a piece myself to the public as much as possible, because I'm not here in New Zealand for that long, and I must, you know, give up my time to do these sort of things. And it's because of you, Murray.
Oh, yeah, you're full of
it. Buddy buzz.
Val, you've achieved everything in sport, the Olympic gold medal being the epitome. So, you know, why do you keep training and competing?
You know, last year I was a sort of second boost for me, or second motivation, since I hooked up with Jean-Pierre, and it was a great change, and obviously changes are good, and they obviously worked out for me. After winning World Champs last year and breaking 21 metres again there, it just gave me more motivation to carry on, and this year is no different, except it is the Olympic Games. I am going for my second title. It's going to take a lot of hard work, but I'm prepared and willing to take that challenge on, as well as Jean-Pierre is. And I think because I teamed up with someone that's just so humble and exciting to work with, it makes it a lot easier for me.
Why is he so exciting to work with?
He just turns up and, you know, he suggests things that we do in training that are very different. Every day is a different day. He's just the sweetest guy you'll ever meet, and if you ever get a chance to meet him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He's very humble. He doesn't need any sort of convincing. He's done his dash. His successes speak for themselves, and he's just a very humble, genuine guy, and he's really willing to help me, especially come, you know, he's at retirement age, but he's willing to take on an athlete who's already sort of established, and to carry that person on, I think it's a harder job to do. I think when you get a new athlete, it's easier to coach them and establish them where I'm already established. he's probably got more pressure on him to try and make me go further.
Val, it is fascinating how people come and go from your life. Kirsten Hillier played a really big part in your early life, didn't she?
Yeah, it was really good. You know, the time we spent together was good. Our successes together were good. After 11 years of being with her, time for change came at the right time, and you know, a lot of things happened that year as well outside of the coaching environment and athlete environment. So, you know, we did our best together, and you know, it's the way life goes.
Does Val Adams compartmentalise her life? Right, this is it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to smash the crap out of it, to use your words.
Pretty much.
That's it?
Yep.
In everything in your life?
Most things in my life. Most things in my life. Especially when it comes down to my career and my track and field career. That's basically it. That's how I approach it. I look at life as, and track and field has only been a very small part of your life. And I've got to make, you know, hay while the sun shines. I've got to get in there and do what I've got to do now. I'm not getting any younger. You know, I am just 13 years now into the sport, and I've got to remember that. You know, the body's not going to be at this state in 5-6 years' time. So I've got to hit it all hard now while I still can physically.
Val, it's not for me to say this, but I've got to say to you, your body's looking great. Do you feel good about yourself?
You know, a single life does that to you, Murray. I mean, absolutely. You know, training's been really well. I, you know, dropped 15 kilos a couple of years ago, and it's been the best thing I could ever have done for myself physically and for my back, who is not in the greatest shape. But with the great training of Jean-Pierre, he's made me work a lot of my trunk and my core strength, which has actually helped me to sustain the injury on my back. And that's been really good, but it's been cool.
Can you run past for me, what are the basics of the perfect throw?
Fast, strong, dynamic, I don't know, precision, en français, précision, I don't know what that is, in line, yes. Gliding through the tunnel or the canal.
What the hell's the tunnel and canal?
So when you come off the back, you got to imagine yourself gliding yourself like a compact person from the back through a tunnel until you come out the other end, and then you're going to explode.
Right.
Something that myself will only understand, and probably people in track and field will understand. But you have to be 110% physically, emotionally, mentally prepared and ready to throw. Shot putting is not an event where you can cheat. You know, like running, you can take, you know, you're still going to finish the race. You can go to 100%, but you can also slow down at 80 and then catch up with the last 40. Where shot putting, it starts from the start. If you're not 100% ready, you can't actually cheat, because there's only 2 and a bit meters the distance of the circle, and you have to go fast from the start to the end. And if you're not physically there, then you ain't going to do a good throw.
How important is the role of the coach and the relationship between the athlete and the coach in your case?
Very important. Very, very important. I think with my coaching situation now, it's been the best I've ever had. He's made me a lot more confident with my technique than I've ever been in my life or in my career. We also have, he's also concerned about my well-being. You know, if I'm happy, then we're going to have a good session, we're going to have a good season, we're going to have, you know, good relationship together. He's concerned about my well-being while I am in Switzerland, because he knows that I love my family so much that it does hurt being away from them, but he also knows that there's a challenge in front of us and what we need to do. But it's very important, and I think I've chosen the right person to take me on.
Val, you mentioned your coach before and that I should meet him. I've got to tell you, I actually already have. I met him at the Spencer and Byron Hotel, just by chance in the car park, and we were having a chat, and I said to him that I was going to be interviewing you. And he said, I have stayed at this hotel before. And I said, oh, when was that? And he said, oh, during the Alingi thing, I was part of their campaign. Now, I hated Alingi. But you can't help hating him. You just don't hate him. He is a lovely man, isn't he?
Yes, he is an amazing man. Yeah.
Tell me, do you still get a buzz out of winning things like the Hellberg Award?
Absolutely. You know, it's the icing on the cake for any season. It's the way New Zealanders celebrate sporting excellence in New Zealand, and to be part of that, it's pretty cool. And still be nominated and win it, that's still amazing, because I still feel that I still got more to give, and that Val Adams is not over just yet.